Hi, I'm Dr. Kirsten, the ManyPets vet.
And I'm Adem Fehmi, a dog trainer and behaviourist. It's important to remember that barking is a natural behaviour and is a way that dogs communicate. Barking is only a problem when it's excessive, maybe causing us stress or our dog stress. For example, it may trouble neighbours.
And it's also important to remember that some breeds of dog are more likely to bark than others, so putting in the time to do your research before bringing a dog home is really helpful.
So there are many different types of barking and they may all need to be addressed differently, but here are a few tips that you could follow to help with this behaviour.
Make sure that your dog gets adequate exercise, reward calm and positive behavior, and lastly, be aware of and be thinking about your dog's triggers so that you can try and avoid those.
The first question we need to be asking is, why is our dog barking? Let's take a look at a few of the different types. So firstly, we have territorial barking. This is a bark that we may see in a window or a doorway when guests come to the house, for example. Dogs may bark. If people leave, they may think they're seeing them off.
This is basically your dog's way of saying, back off, this is my space. So then how would you go about approaching this if you were working on this with a client?
So we'll be looking at, firstly, making sure it definitely is territorial behaviour. Is the dog directing this energy towards a door, guests coming in and out, or a window, for example? And then we've got to make sure we keep control, make it safe initially, and then can we positively reward good reactions in these situations. So when we're talking about territorial barking or behaviour, you can see here we're in the garden. We may find a dog being territorial at a fence line or towards a gate. It's really, really important that we bring the dog back out to this environment under control. We've also got here a food dispensing toy. We just have treats. I'm going to give the dog that to do while I've got hold of the lead. I want to be out here with my dog, exposing it to those sounds and sights with something to do. As the dog gets better at this and is ignoring what's going on, I might start dropping the lead. Take your time with this, and this can take a long time. Be careful not to rush this process. It's all about getting those little baby steps right. We want that progression. As the dog gets better, we might even take the lead off and maybe even just give a treat rather than the food dispensing toy. But it's important that we're out here with our dogs and we fade us away as the dog improves. So next up, we have fearful barking. This is a bark that may be directed towards something your dog sees as a threat. This might be another dog, a person, or even a cyclist, for example.
So this would fall into the category of what we call reactivity or a reactive dog, and this can be really tricky to deal with. I know owners get discouraged really easily, but it's important to remember to stay positive and stay consistent. If you want more information, we do have a video about reactive dogs that you can check out.
The most important thing here is to seek the advice of a professional behaviourist. Next up is anxious barking. Dogs may bark anxiously when they're separated from us humans, for example, or even another pet.
So we see this a lot in new puppies. It's a very common behavior and it can continue and get worse into adulthood. So how would you recommend that we approach anxious barking early on?
So remember, dogs are social mammals. It's important to be with us. We're making the unnatural sometimes natural. So we want to make sure we're exercising our dogs well, positively rewarding them when they are away from us. Be patient and build this up. We also have a video on separation anxiety if you need to tackle this. Attention barking. This is what it says on the tin. This is our dogs trying to get our attention.
I think all of us pet owners have been there. I definitely have. So how would you address this?
So I like to give my dogs lots of enrichment throughout the day. Think about your toy box. Think about the way you use your toys. Think about food, the way you use food. Could we scatter it in the garden, for example? Food enrichment, toys, games. If we instigate these things, our dogs are less likely to.
So what I'm hearing from you is it's really key to make sure that your dogs don't feel the need to do that in the first place. So we're covering things like exercise, mental stimulation, so they're not feeling the need to seek that by barking.
100%.